Alright guys, I think we are recording now. Um, alright, yeah, so um, today's video is going to be, um, obviously you can see it's going to be about hoof trimming. Last video I trimmed a bunch of hooves and the video I had, it just didn't fit for an explanation. The lighting wasn't great and I happen to trim hooves really fast. So anyways, um, uh, I have to apologize because I'm not. Yep, we are still going. Okay. But anyways, so I am going to explain this the best of my ability, and I have a whole bunch of. I got some pictures here. I also have a lot of other stuff that I will be talking about. So to start with, um, I was going to get all the nice terminology here. Well, fortunately, this picture shows it right in there. So, as you can see, this is a goat hoof, and goats have a split hoof. I believe is actually the proper word. Split. You can see here. There's like two toes. Um, you can actually spread these apart then, and then you have the wall, which is this lighter gray area, and the sole, or the soft frog. I'm not sure if that's, um, I've never heard it called that. Sole, though, I mean, that pretty well self-explanatory. This is a soft, um, it's a soft, I don't even know how to explain it, um, membrane, I guess. Um, so, when you're trimming hooves, you're only trimming the wall itself. Um, you do not trim the sole. You can cut into the sole. However, if you get a little bit too deep, you are going to start hitting blood. So if you do cut a little bit, it is not a big deal. However, you just got to be very careful that you don't get too deep, and then you'll have a bleeding mess on your hands. Now, if you do happen to hit some blood, it is okay. I occasionally will yet. Um, from time to time, I will cut a little too deep. Just, once you get down there, you got to be a little bit careful. You don't want to have a big mess on your hands. Um, Usually, when I do it, it's not too bad. It dribbles a little bit. But anyways, uh, this is a good picture here. So the hoof wall grows down, but it also will curve forward. Um, and this is your end product right here. So um, the first thing you need to do is open it up a little bit. So what's going to happen is this wall is going to grow out, and it's going to kind of curl. I would say like it would close this gap in a way. Um, so what I like to do first thing, cut this off. And what I'll usually do is kind of come in like an angle like this. And you just got to be careful. You don't want to get too high up in here that you're cutting too much. Um, maybe cut a little bit here, cut a little bit there. But then what'll happen is the front of this will be open, and you can stick your knife in and then cut this, and cut, your knife would stick in here, and then say you cut this wall off, and then you can see that. What's gonna most likely you'll see after that is this is gonna be full of either manure, mud, uh, maybe some stones, and you're gonna want to scrape that out of there. So you just take your knife, you scrape it out, and once you get that kind of cleaned out, then you can see a little bit more of what you need to be cutting. Um, and yeah, so you just kind of trim it down, and this is kind of your end goal here. Um, you want this whole area to be pretty well flat. You want the wall to be about even with the sole, and I guess that's basically what you're looking for. You want the goat to be standing pretty well level. Um, Now, obviously, this picture doesn't, I wouldn't say isn't realistic, because this is, I mean, perfectly square. Um, Sometimes I think I'll have, say, this front corner might be cut off a little bit, because I like to come in and, like do this. Um, but basically, that's what you're looking for. You want to stay on top of this kind of. There's a thing called hoof rot, which is a disease in the. I'm not going to talk about that too much, but you like to keep your goats happy, and obviously they're not. If the hooves are overgrown, they're not going to be comfortable as uh, as they should be, and your efficiency for whatever you're trying to do is probably not going to be there. Um, I don't do much with the dew claws. Um, they usually don't grow out too terribly. I don't think I've ever cut a dew claw. Um, so here I was just on. These are the trimmers that I use. Kind of similar to this. I just go through Premiere. Um, I bought in from Fleet Farm. You just don't get the quality there. Um, for hoof trimmers. We buy these. They usually last quite a long time. I believe you can get them sharpened. You'd have to find the right guy to do that. Usually you just use them until they don't cut well anymore, and then you just get a new one. Um, this is the style I use. There's a few different styles. You can try out, try different ones. Um, so the other thing is the CD&T shot. So um, here I'm on the Fleet Farm website. I just get this from Fleet Farm. Um, it is a CD&T. Now this don't expect me to read that out loud. Those first the uh, Clostridium perfringens. I That's my best pronunciation of it. Type C and D and tetanus toxoid. So this is the vaccine that I give, which is a, starting off a newborn kid at about, I believe, at about 8 weeks of age. We will give 2 cc's of this vaccine, and then again at about 12 weeks in age. Now that can vary. Obviously, all the goats aren't being born on the same day or the same week, so you just kind of gotta uh, do it when it's most convenient. So you do it at 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and then the older animals, I'll get it once a year. And what this is, um, this word here for you, is a spore forming, uh, basically it's a bacteria that would be in the intestines. Um, I, it's just it's good for me to be looking at this just to remember what I'm uh, giving the shot for. So this is, I was always kind of told dumb, I don't want to say a dumbed down version, but kind of an overeating disorder. Um, Not disorder, but uh, for overeating. Um, I think something with this will cause them to overeat. I'm not an expert. If you really want to know more, go to your vet. I mean, they'll be able to. I would think, anyways, they should be able to tell you a little bit more um, about this. And I just get this from Fleet Farm, Tractor Supply, Farm and Home. I just gotta look. Otherwise, your vet clinic, I'm sure, will have it if you just ask them. Um, and I also get they are uh, three 3 cc disposable needle syringes with the 22 gauge needle. That's what I use for doing this. Um, and where I give the shot, there are a couple different areas in which you can give the shot. However, I stick right in here, um, that purple area. Um, if you go, if you're a little bit, if you want to just see that done, go back to my video I posted, my last video, which was trimming hooves and grinding feed. Um, I do give one shot, I believe. So what you do is you grab onto the loose skin here, and it's a sub Q injection, so it's just under the skin. You need to pull the skin out, and then basically you just stick the needle in. And I think the proper way, you're supposed to actually pull back on the syringe to make sure you're not in any veins or blood vessels. I've I learned to do that in school, but on the farm, I mean, we've never done that, so I don't. I mean, we've never had a problem either. Um, so you just stick it under the skin. You can give it up. There's like a somewhere there's a here is actually a picture of a triangle. There's a kind of a triangle area here in which you can give that shot as well. And then I'm seeing this. I've never given a shot there, or have I seen one given there. Um, this is just always where we went. Uh, and if you're nervous about doing it, um, get someone in that would or has experience. All our cattle are pretty well given shots in this area, just because that's just it works best for us. Um, your vet, definitely, you could talk to your vet, have them out, but the bill is there as well. But if money's not an issue, definitely your vet. Um, but yeah, so this is kind of, we'll see where I'm at. I probably talked your ear off. Oh, we're only at about 15 minutes. So, the other thing I would recommend for especially trimming hooves, um, getting a table. such as the one I had. Alright guys, so I went went ahead and found a table. Um, I would recommend some sort of table. I'm not saying you have to buy one. Um, if you go back and look at mine was homemade and it works great. Um, I can't really complain about it other than you got to get the goat on there. I was looking at this one. This has a ramp going up to it. Definitely would recommend that, especially if you're working alone. Um, usually, if I have help, it's not a problem getting the goat onto the table. Um, and the last group I actually did alone, and uh, I had a little bit of trouble getting them onto the table. Now they were all pregnant and probably pretty fat, and I I don't want to call myself muscular, but compared to most people with goats, um, even I had a hard time getting them onto the table. Um, now, if you're older or I guess you gotta see where I'm coming from. If you don't have help, make sure you figure out the best way to get them on there. And having a ramp would definitely come in handy on that table. Um, but we'll see. This one just has a uh, kind of a headpiece. Um, I don't know. There are other ones that you get like a head gate. Um, but yeah, it, it'll definitely save your back, I guess. What I like to do is I like to actually, especially trimming the front hooves, I'll just sit right down on the table and trim that front hoof, and then I'll get up and I'll actually kneel, put my inside knee on the table and do the back hoof. And I guess it's just a lot easier than me standing next to the table and trimming the hoof. Um, I am thinking about doing uh, kind of building a working chute for doing this, and I don't know. I haven't done a lot of thinking on it yet, so we'll see what I decide to do. Um, Originally, I wanted to make it so I could move it around, and now I'm kind of to the point where I just want to kind of build an area in the barn that I can do this, but I guess we'll see. And one more thing I just saw, let's click on this. They have a resharpening service. Um, yeah, most blade. So you may be able to get your hoof. You'd have to ask, but definitely you could get your hoof trimmers sharpened. Um, I've never done it. We just usually buy new ones, but and by no means am I sponsored or anything by Premier One. Um, this is just I'm going to be very blunt with you. This is just what I do, and there's a lot of other different ways you can do things. Um, but once again, this is my channel, and this is how I do things. You can do it however you want. I'm hoping I can help you out. If you have no idea what you're doing, hopefully you get an idea. If you do know what you're doing, hopefully it also gives you ideas and other, uh, hopefully, different techniques and whatnot. Um, But anyways, if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I will definitely answer them or do a video if it uh, requires a video. I'll make a video. Uh, but yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. Um, show your friends with goats. Sheep. This also applies to sheep as well. Sheep hooves are, I believe, almost identical, and it's kind of the same concept, except uh, they do it a little bit differently, restraining them a little bit differently. But anyways, this is a goat channel. So show your friends if they want to learn. I guess send them my way, and yeah, hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time.